live stream. All righty, and we are live. So let's get back to the Zoom link. We are sharing here we are sharing today about our photobiomodulation patches. This is our Zoom info question and answer session. Welcome to this broadcast. I'm Dame Lillian Walker. I am a poly-certified holistic practitioner, neurosomatic practitioner, and I specialize in repatterning the brain to release physical and emotional trauma. And I use these photobiomodulation patches that activate your pluripotent cells to regenerate and rejuvenate your body to a younger, healthier state. So let me share with you briefly. We're going to do real briefly here. I'm going to share the screen here. I want to share with you. We're going to start off with our trusty, dusty disclaimer here. So thank you for your time and your attention. You're going to learn here about how to activate your stem cells, and you're also going to learn about the mother pluripotent activation patch called X39. And so let's start off by making sure that we cross our T's and dot our I's. Our disclaimer is that the patches are not intended to treat, prevent, or cure any disease, and we do not heal, cure, treat, or diagnose, nor do we offer any protocols. So the suggestions do not replace the diagnosis and treatment by a qualified licensed healthcare professional. We strongly recommend you consult with your doctor concerning your specific health challenge and treatment needed. No medical claims are being made with the suggestions here. This is intended for human use only. However, if you choose to put the patches on one of your quadrupeds, dog, cat, horse, you're more than welcome to do that. Of course, you can do whatever you'd like with whatever you've got. There's no prescription required for these photobiomodulation patches. We've seen incredible results with people who have, in fact, done that with their beloved quadrupeds. All right, so let me share with you another screen. I want to show you some before and after pictures that I think you'll find quite interesting. If I can just get this to work here. Here we go. Okay, so let's see if this is sharing properly. Okay, here it is. Okay, so if you see this picture right here, you will see this gentleman who, when he started on the patches, he had a pretty decent bald spot on the back of his head. You can also see the color of his hair, how his hair is fairly white and his eyebrows are fairly white. And you can clearly see here in the next picture where a lot of hair growth has emanated from his scalp. And you can also notice that his original hair color is coming back. So we don't make any medical claims. Our 90 clinical studies, we have independent clinical studies that were done with double-blind placebo effects and so forth, and they were done in the United States, Europe, as well as Asia. And you will notice that we did not measure hair growth. That was not one of the factors that was monitored with the subjects. However, we see that a lot of people do have a lot of effects with hair growth, as well as original hair color coming back for many of the people that are on the patches. So I just wanted to go through and share with you how some people, this gal, she's another one. This is a personal friend of mine. I actually know her in person. And you can see that her hair color is shinier, more lustrous, and some of her original hair color has come back. She didn't dye her hair before. She still doesn't dye her hair. And a lot of her natural hair color has come back. She's got gorgeous hair. This picture doesn't, she's as beautiful as she is in these pictures. You can also see that she's had a rejuvenating effect, but her hair is, she could do a Pantene commercial. I kid you not. If you saw her in person, it really is extraordinary. Here's another gal who lost a significant amount of weight. And so she's experienced some rejuvenation, and you could see how much more youthful she looks just a year of wearing the patches. So I want to share with you, there's 3 types of people that I have found in my practice that come to want to use the patches. The first group of people are a group of people who are really into peak performance athletic training. They want to optimize their bodies. They want a competitive edge because they're marathon runners, they're bicyclists, they're tennis players, they're football players, they're swimmers, they're whatever sport that they're in, they're gymnasts, and soccer players, and they're looking to get that competitive edge so that they can win at their next competition. They want their workouts to be more effective so that when they do go to competition, that they can win that gold medal. So that's the first group, peak performance trainers, people who are into peak performance athletically. Second group of people are into biohacking, reverse aging, longevity. They just want a more youthful appearance, not just a youthful appearance, but they're very passionate about having an organic, clean living lifestyle. They really honor their bodies. They want to look and feel, and also biochemically be as young as they possibly can, because they want to live to be 100, 125, 150 years. And so that's a second group of people. And then we have the third group of people that come to the patches, which I find to be the majority of my group, not all, but there's a large percentage of my group of people who have some sort of issue, some sort of problem, some sort of condition, syndrome, disease, diagnosis, a whole cacophony of symptoms that they've been battling and fighting and struggling and searching for answers all over the planet to see how they can repair, how they can fix these issues that are going on with their bodies that are burdening them. And so that's the third group of people. And so some people have, they need to gain weight. Others need to lose weight. Some of them have, again, there's no shortage of the whole list of symptoms that you can imagine that people have. The good news is that when you use this photobiomodulation patches, that your pluripotent cells, which are your stem cells, they don't distinguish whether it's something that will improve your looks or not. They don't care about your vanity. They just recognize cellular damage. And because they're programmed to replace damaged cells inside and outside of your body, top to bottom, front to back, left to right, forwards and backwards, your original playbook and your original stem cells that were previously dormant, a third of them are going to wake back up and immediately start this charging order of replacing fast and furiously any damaged cells that you have in your body. That's going to give you the effect of looking more youthful and more refreshed and more revitalized as you regenerate. Here you have an elder lady, and I say elder only because she is admittedly over 60 years of age, and you could see what her neck and her jowls and her lips and so forth look like. And you can clearly see this is February 1st. Just 1 week later, you can see a little bit of an improvement. 2 weeks later, a marked improvement. You see how this is not as deep. And 4 weeks on the patches, and look at how much less marked those jowls are on this particular lady. So that's just evidencing to you the potential, the possibility, the probability for you. This is the same lady, and this is what she looks like. And you see the 1st, the 7th, the 15th, and the 28th. And you can definitely see an improvement also in her skin texture. Look at how she's starting to get more rosiness in her cheeks. And you could see how some of the fine lines and kind of a little bit of the sagging of the skin, you're starting to see it shrink back here. And she's just starting to look better. So I wish I had a picture of her right now, because this is 2022. We are now, as of this recording, we are in the beautiful month of October. It's October and it's 2023. And I actually saw her at convention last year, and I believe I saw her this year, and she just continues to get younger and younger looking. So many people, including Dr. Stacy, the head of our medical group. Dr. Stacy she's responsible for saving over 45,000 lives, 45,000 people who would not be on the patches today if it wasn't because her starting on the patches just 2 short years ago. And over the year and a half that I've known her, every time I see her, not only is she shrinking, but she is more baby-faced, more younger looking. She literally has the face of a 25-year-old. She looks phenomenal. And if you see her, you can compare her Zooms. If you go to Dr. Stacy Hallweger, the YouTube channel, you look at her videos from this week and compare them to videos from a year and a half and 2 years ago, and you will see definitely a difference. She was gorgeous a year and a half, 2 years ago, but there's a more youthful look to her, and she has shrunk. She has lost some weight. She is, more fit now, and she's able to do like 150 burpees. Who does that? That's a crazy amount of burpees. Olympians do that, but she does it, and she's quite fit. And she, I believe she just turned 50 in September 23rd of this past year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think she either turned 49 or she turned 50. I have to double check, but I think she just turned 50, and she doesn't look a day over 30. Really quite amazing. Here's my friend Gloria Coppola. I've gotten to see her. Actually, I saw her here at convention just a couple of weeks ago here, October 11th to the 17th in Orlando, Florida. And Gloria, unbelievable how she does not have any saggy skin on her face anymore. Gloria doesn't wear any makeup. She puts no makeup on. There's no lipstick. This is her natural lip color. She doesn't wear foundation. She doesn't wear eye makeup. She's just kind of plain faced, but she's gorgeous. She doesn't need makeup. She's very fortunate that she really doesn't need any makeup. And she has beautiful textured skin. She had beautiful textured skin before, but she has even more beautiful textured skin because of the increase in collagen. Now, bear in mind, she's been wearing the patches for 3 years, 3 years nonstop. This picture was taken in February. These pictures she shared. She was shocked, to tell you the truth. In February, when her Facebook, how Facebook sends you notices, a year ago today, 5 years ago today, 12 years ago today, this is what you were doing. And when she saw that picture from 3 years ago, what came up on her Facebook feed, she's like, I don't look like that. And she looked in the mirror, she looked at the picture, she looked in the mirror, and she said, oh my gosh, she did not realize that she had rejuvenated so much. Can you imagine? That happens to all of us. And so she immediately took a picture of herself with her glasses on, posted it on Facebook. The rest is history. She still, I got to tell you, for several months after that picture was posted, and then of course she got a lot of feedback from that. And then people who know her have seen her and they're like, yeah, we were asking, what is it that you're doing? Because you definitely are looking younger. And she still, even though it's her and her experience, she had a hard time reconciling in her brain that her throat and that her face was this saggy and that her face is so much more, it's just more youthful. Yeah, and the skin texture is better and plumper, and, so many of the fine lines and wrinkles have gone away, not to mention that she feels so much better. This woman does not stop. She's traveling all over the world between here and Europe all the time. Very accomplished book author. She is a phenomena, not to mention she has saved so many lives with people who have gotten started on the patches that she's invited and introduced and shared with them the results that she got, because she had a lot of physical results, not just aesthetically from how she looks, but she had other things going on. And so she's got a very large group of people that are on the patches as a direct result of her sharing what this technology does for you and for me. And so that's Gloria Coppola. She's a really neat gal. Here's somebody, and I can totally relate to this, because after I suffered getting hit by a bus in 2017, just 3 blocks shy of finishing a bike ride, 50%, that's 50% of my hair fell out. It just, every time I would shower, every time I would wash my hair, it was like all this hair kept on falling out. I was thinning. And I had bald spots on my head. I had a few bald spots on the top right-hand side, even though my point of impact was the bottom left of my head and my lower back. I had a couple bald spots on the top right. I had a bald spot the size of my palm above my ear. Caused me a great deal of grief because I could not put my hair up in a ponytail because I would expose that. Not to mention I would expose the back side of my head, my point of impact. That was the size of my palm also, from my hairline up. Complete bald spot. I'm not talking about thinning hair. I'm talking about a bald spot where you don't have a single hair follicle. The skin is nice and shiny because there's no hair growth. there. And I had that for about 5 years. And I managed to clear up the 2 little bald spots here. I had one that was like the size of there was about the size of a $50 up here and about the size of a quarter up here. And like I said, this was palm size and palm size. It wasn't until I got on the patches 4 months after starting on the patches that I began to become aware and realize and recognize that I had about 70% hair growth. I was already starting to notice little baby hair starting to grow like in front, my hairline. My hairdresser was saying, oh my gosh, you have all this little hair, baby hair growth. Looks like your hair's filling in. And at the 4th month, 70% of my hair had filled in the back of my head. I discovered it when I was curling my hair one morning. You know, I take pieces of hair like this. And as I got to the back, there was a piece of hair that was only about this big. It was darker. It was a different texture, a little silkier, softer, and smoother. And it was all different. It wasn't like a perfect, you know, they weren't all the same length like, you know, the rest of your hair, right? And I thought, how unusual. Why? Oh my gosh, this is new hair growth. And as I touched back there, I couldn't tell the percentage, to be honest with you. It wasn't until a few days later I went to my hairdresser, and they're the ones who said, both Shane as well as Gina, it was Shane and Gina that said, yeah, you have about 70% hair growth back there. And I was thrilled, elated. And they said, just at the very top, you have maybe about a little smaller than a quarter size little bald spot that's at the very top, but about 70% filled in, not bad. And I was thrilled to death. Good grief. Sorry about that. So that will stop in just a moment. That is just a signal to pay close attention to what is going to come next. All right. Sorry about that. All righty. So the next person, here's someone who has worn the patches, and you see very distinct wound healing as a direct result of wearing these patches. We have some people who have had terrible injuries, others have wounds from other circumstances. I don't know the specifics about this one, but it does say here on the graphic that this person had a jellyfish sting. How miserable is that? Terrible jellyfish sting. So this is on September 25th. You could see that they put 2 patches on. I think this was X39. It could be 2 X39s or a 39 and 49, the mother and daughter stem cell activation patch. The next day, you see what the status is. Here you have on the 30th. And on the 16th of October, you see a significant reduction in the scarring from this particular injury. Here's somebody who had a terrible, terrible wound. This is 1 week after surgery, 5 weeks after surgery. You could see them wearing the patch, the X39 here. And this is September 2022. Okay. Here is, he doesn't show the before and after on this one, so we're going to skip over this one. I've shown you those before. Here's someone who you could tell their complexion, pretty drastic change. They had some sort of issues with acne and dermatitis and a lot of age. I would say they're a combination of age spots and scars on their face. And this person, they're holding up here glutathione because they're wearing glutathione on their 3rd eye. I would imagine that X39, the mother stem cell activation patch, is probably worn on the neck bump, on the brainstem, at the base of the neck, at the top of the spine. That's kind of cute, the way he's holding that with his lips. But look at how so many of those dark spots, look at how clear his complexion and his skin is. I find that so exciting because whether it took 3 months, 7 months, whether it took a year, the fact is that without the patch, this condition with all of these people would simply get worse. It wouldn't get better. And so this is a way of unringing the bell, resetting, restoring, regenerating your body. And it's very, very exciting. Here's a gal. So here is a gal 5 months after wearing the patches. Wow. She's holding the bag with her stem cell activation patches. This is what she looked like at the beginning. And 5 months later, she has a significant drop in weight to the tune of who knows how many pounds. She didn't disclose that here, but those pants are clearly too big for her now that she used to fill those pants up without a problem. And now they're loose. And Kara gave her weight loss. We don't use the word protocol because that's not allowed. The FDA doesn't let us use the word protocol. So I will just say that this is her regimen, her recommendation. Her Veritas Concilium is X39, Eon, SP6, glutathione, and energy enhancer. That was her weight loss regimen that she used. So very, very exciting. Some people put the patches on their animals. Like I said, they're not intended for animals. It's intended for human use only. However, many people, after they've worn their patches for 12 hours, when they remove them to match the 12 hours with rest, repair, and restore, they then go ahead and put it on their animals. Other people put brand new patches on their animals. It's all up to you how you choose to deal with that. Here, this particular cat had UTI issues and was incontinent and had large cyst and breathing issues. 2 months. The incontinence and the cysts, incontinence disappeared and the cysts started shrinking. And now they're playing like kittens. So here's someone with really severe, somebody from Norway, her psoriasis before and after 17 weeks of being on the patches. She put glutathione, carnosine, and Eon. That's the Y-age regimen, not protocol. Now, and so in 17 weeks, she went from this severe psoriasis to being practically clear. That's you guys have no idea how painful. Not only does this look unsightly, but that is all raw inflammation. That's skin that's on fire inside, and it's also radiating to the outside. I got to tell you, this person probably has this type of inflammation in their armpits, their groin, the back of their legs, their arm folds. This is a very miserable, miserable, miserable experience to have. And so not only has this gone away so that it looks more pleasant to the eye, I'm sure the itching, the burning, all of that is now gone because now look at her skin has been restored. So these are stories of before and after. We're going to stop here. Actually, we'll stop with Marcy. She's a dear friend of mine. She lives about 45 minutes south of me here in Mission Viejo. She has a phenomenal story. 4 years ago, she started on these patches in 2019. She was diagnosed with, are you able to see this? I just realized, I'm not sure if the YouTube stopped. Oh yeah, it doesn't look like the screen share. Yeah, it looked like the screen share had stopped. So I apologize about that. Yeah, the screen share for some reason stopped. That was kind of funny. So I'm not sure that you saw the previous gal. I will show you her psoriasis that I was saying before, because otherwise it's not going to be on there. This is her over a 17-week period. She went from this state of psoriasis to practically clear skin here. Definitely, probably a 95%, if not 98% improvement. So then I was going to end here with Marcy. And Marcy here, actually, we'll end with this gal because this is a pretty good story too. Marcy, 4 years ago in 2019, when she started on the patches, she had been diagnosed for the 3rd time with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. Twice before, she had been diagnosed with stage 3 metastatic breast cancer. And this 3rd time, when she was given the stage 4 diagnosis, they had told her, you know what, we have done everything we possibly could for you. There's nothing else we can do. All we can do is make you comfortable at this point. And she thought, there's got to be something that I can find out there that's going to be able to help me. And that's when the patches came into her experience. And when she started these patches, she was unrecognizable. She looked like she could have been her own mother. And she had a lot of inflammation. You could see the texture of her skin. You could see the condition of her hair. I mean, the line in the, she's got lines all over, right? 60 days after wearing these patches with that terrible type of condition, this is what Marcy looked like. I kid you not. She looks like a co-ed. Beautiful, glowing skin, smoothie silk hair, 60 days. This is at 90 days. She basically still looks like this. She looks phenomenal. You see her in person, she's tall. She looks like a volleyball player. She's very tall. She's, I think, like 5'10", 5'11". She might even be 6 feet tall. Everybody towers over me because I'm only 5'1". So, but she's tall, she's vibrant, she's got beautiful skin. Her hair always looks like this. She always has this beautiful silky hair. She doesn't have any gray in it. It's all dark. It's just gorgeous. And her skin is glowing. She basically is no longer burdened with that diagnosis of stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. She has been in remission for over 2 years, and she is living a happy, healthy, victorious, and voluminous life. She's basically got a beautiful, fun-filled life. And she has a very large group of people, over 45,000 people, who I think she's up to even more than that, who have learned about the patches because of her story and because she got started on this. So I wanted to share this one because when I started on the patches, I didn't even realize that I had a little hooded eyelids. And I've mentioned that in my broadcasts before, but this gal, she is one of our brand partners, and she was having some sort of an allergic reaction and her eyelids got very swollen. So you see here on her left eye, she has, this is obviously reversed image. This is her right and her left. Left eye, no patch, swollen, filled with fluid. Her right eyelid, I guess she's calling this the right, if you look at it straight on. She has the Eon patch, which is the master anti-inflammatory patch. You can see how this is a lot more filled with fluid. It has what we call edema, which is inflammation and fluid filled. And on this right side, she has the Eon patch, and you'll see how this is reduced and it's not quite as puffy, has hardly any fluid. So she was having this allergic reaction and she just immediately patched Eon. If she wanted to, she could have put Eon either on either temple or right above each eye, and that would also help take care of this and start to minimize the effect that she was having of that reaction, that allergic reaction. Okay, so we're going to stop there. We're going to go on briefly to share some information about, I'm going to share with you, here we go. It's the right screen. All right, we already did our disclaimer. So these patches were originally invented. They are invented by our incredible scientist, David Schmidt. And I'm sorry, because the screen is still loading. There is, I don't know why it's taking so long. And I know that there's a new update that I'm holding off to do till after this broadcast. Wow, it's a long time to load. It still hasn't loaded. So I'm going to stop screen share and try and do this again, because for some reason it did not load the screen. There you go. Finally, it popped in. Okay. So David Schmidt is the scientist. He's not a doctor, but he is a scientist who was hired by the Department of Defense to invent all sorts of different things for the Department of Defense. And he had had a great deal of success with them about 23 years ago. And 23 years ago, at that time, they said, hey, listen, David, can you invent something that will increase and enhance the energy of our Black Ops Navy SEALs? Because our Navy SEALs, right now, we give them amphetamines, uppers, energy drinks, and those work really well, but those are very harsh on their body. And when the effects wear out, they crash. And we can't have that because they're the first line of defense. And we just need something that's more effective, more organic, holistic, and that will be of greater benefit to keep their energy levels high. David, being a man of prayer and meditation, he's been an inventor since he was a child. He went into prayer and into meditation. In fact, he was in Mount Shasta when he was doing this prayer and this meditation, asking God Almighty, the divine, for guidance, for inspiration. When he had this divine download of information, this packet of information was revealed to him, he immediately ran to his lab and he started putting into effect what he received in that download. And lo and behold, that's when Energy Enhancer, which is a 2-patch system, was born. And then the Navy SEALs started to use these patches. And in fact, I have friends who were in the Navy at the time, and they knew about the Navy SEALs wearing these miracle patches. at the time, when they still wear them to this day. And they told us, like one of my friends said, he goes, yeah, we heard about the Navy SEALs having these patches, and it wasn't all the Navy SEALs that had access to these patches. It was just the Black Ops Navy SEALs that had access to those patches. And all of us wanted to get our hands on them, but we couldn't. It was only the Black Ops Navy SEALs that had access to them. And so these patches that David Schmidt has invented is based on the work of Lauren Picard, who in 1973 discovered that GHKCU copper peptide activates a third of previously dormant stem cells, turning genes to a younger, healthier state. If you want to learn more about that, there is a website called reverseagingwithghk.com. You can read all about that. Lauren Picard ended up becoming a Nobel Prize winner as a direct result of this incredible research and work. There are thousands of other scientists who have replicated and duplicated the same effects that he did in turning and activating a third of previously dormant stem cells through the use of GHKCU copper peptide. And you can find on PubMed, Google Scholar, thousands of papers to satisfy yourself. So based on that information, David went to work to create not just the energy enhancer patch, but he ended up creating 11 different patches, almost a dozen patches that activate your different peptides in the body in order to effectuate a certain outcome. And the thing to know about your stem cells are that they are pluripotent cells. So pluripotent, pluri means plural, potent, potential. So there's many potentials. So when you were born, your mother's ovum came in unification. It came in contact with your father's sperm. And at conception, you now have 23,688 genes and stem cells to start forming you in your mother's womb, because now you have complete information. By itself, the ovum can't do anything by itself. The sperm can't do anything by itself. They have to be united to become one. And at that point, you now have complete information. Now you have all the programming necessary to create your body, to create an embryo that will later grow into a fetus, later be a newborn, and then that's responsible for you and me being here right now. By the time you're 30 years old, 50% of your stem cells turn off. And by the time you're 60, 90% of them turn off for no other reason. They're not damaged. They're not destroyed. They don't disappear. They simply go dormant. By the time you're 30, 50%. And by the time you're 60, 90%. They just go dormant. And so by wearing these photobiomodulation patches, also known as phototherapy patches, this is a mechanical device to redirect your infrared light into your body to activate your previously dormant stem cells. So let's talk about your body as like a house. And as you look at your body being like a house, it's a temporary housing unit, if you will, for your energy, for the personality that is you. And if you look at your stem cells that are inside your body, it's one of the building blocks of your body. It's what's responsible for making all of you, right? As we mentioned before. These are like printer ink cartridges that you use to make photocopies of originals. And when you have 100% of the ink, 100% of your stem cells, then when you make a copy of an original, the copy is indistinguishable from the original, whether it's black and white or colored copy. However, when you've used up 70, 80, 90% of the ink, now the 10% of that ink that's remaining has to do the job of still making a color copy, but it's going to be a much more faded version of the original. So it's very different from the original, because when you have 100% of your ink, even 50% of your ink, you can barely tell the difference between the original and the copy. But when you only have 10% left, it's a very faded version of the original. And the same thing is true with your stem cells. So you're probably wondering, how do the patches work? So inside your body, you have infrared light. You have electrons in the cells, and you have electrolytes that go through your blood. Electrolytes are just little packets, light packets of information that, along with the oxygen in your blood, they flow through your bloodstream, and your heart's job is to pump that up to your brain to oxygenate. And those light packets have nutrients, it has information, and it has nutritious benefit to your brain and all parts of your body. Your blood is the electromagnetic highway that's transporting everything throughout your body. That infrared light that's inside your body, if I were to wear night vision goggles and I were to look at you at night, I would see you glowing in the dark. In fact, both the military and the police force uses night vision goggles to see people at night because you could see them glowing in the dark. That infrared light that's inside your body doesn't just stay inside your body glows, it emanates out, so your body's glowing in the dark. And so that infrared light is what we use to have this patch is going to redirect. It's just a mechanical device that's going to mirror back that infrared light to activate different peptides in the body, depending on which patch that you're using. And in the particular case of the mother stem cell activation patch, which is the X39, that's going to activate a particular copper peptide to activate a specific protein that will create a certain effect in your body, which I'm about to share with you in just a moment. Another thing to note about is what the patches are made of. Because again, it's a it's a mechanical device to redirect and to activate things inside your body. So just as if you were to look at a diamond crystal and you were to shine a light with a flashlight, you see the light reflecting back to your eyes, right? So now with this particular patch, this tiny white circle that you see here, if you were to look under a microscope or look with a magnifying glass, you would see all the tiny little crystals, just like diamond crystals. They're organic hydrogen, oxygen, water crystals, organic salt crystals, organic sugar crystals, and a proprietary blend of organic amino acids. Those crystals are arranged in a very specific geometrical pattern, set to a very specific frequency to create a certain effect. And that is called photobiomodulation. That is phototherapy. Photobiomodulation. What is that? Photo is light. Bio, biology. Modulation is movement. So while phototherapy has been defined as the use of ultraviolet light for its healing effects, the LifeWave patches have been specifically developed to reflect light in the infrared and visible light bands back onto the skin where the patch has been placed. In this case, I have it on my pericardium point, on my wrist, on the left and the right. Supported by normal electrodermal skin conductance, the human body gives off a number of materials biochemically, including particulate release, gas emission, ultraviolet, infrared, near infrared, and a visible spectrum of light. This then stimulates the area of the skin, producing improved physiological effects. So variations on phototherapy have been used for at least 100 years or more. In that time, there's been very little evidence of negative side effects, and this suggests that this is a relatively untapped option for healing and relatively few risks. So I want you to notice one of the key things about these patches is, and all the clinical studies talk about this, the fact that they're non-transdermal. Non means doesn't. Transdermal, transfer into the dermis. Nothing transfers into your skin. They're non-invasive, organic, holistic, FDA-compliant, Class 1 medical devices. Under the general wellness category, we manufacture our products at FDA-registered facilities in the United States, and our facility in Ireland is registered with the Irish Medicine Board. We manufacture our products to the same standards as a medical device, and in fact, our facility in Ireland is ISO 9001 and ISO 13485. That's a quality standard. If you're interested in learning more specifics about that, you can learn more directly from David Schmidt himself, where he does a product webinar talking about these things and much, much more. Just let me know, and I can send you this link, and you can check it out. If you go to my photobiomodulation patches long playlist, this is one of about 140 videos that you can binge watch to neuro nerd out and do a deep dive in terms of the nitty-gritty about all of this. So I want to share with you that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, has taken the position that all claims surrounding stem cells and healing, even those from natural products, will be regarded as drug claims. So the FDA also asserts that claiming that the use of light to elevate peptides, such as GHK2, is inappropriate for a general wellness product. So as a result, we can't say that although the clinical studies show that that in fact is the result of people wearing our patches, and we saw that in all of the subjects, we can't say that any longer because the FDA just recently changed the classification of stem cells and Although it doesn't make sense to me, it doesn't make sense also to many scientists. It doesn't make sense even to David Schmidt. If they're making stem cells a drug, well, that means they can make bones, tissue, nails, teeth, all those things can be drugs. So who knows what's going on, but we need to be compliant and we need to honor and follow the rules that the FDA has set aside. So like I said before, even though all of our clinical studies do in fact show that, because this is a general wellness product and because they've passed this new thing in now 2023 that says that stem cells are now a drug, they're regarded as drugs, we can no longer say that. So just keep that in mind. And we're not making any medical claims here. Patches are not created to particularly, it's not to fix a condition, a syndrome, or a disease. If you have a certain body of symptoms that have been diagnosed by a physician, qualified licensed healthcare professional as being such and such, that's fine and dandy. What we can say is that you know that your pluripotent cells will repair and reset and restore all of that, because your original playbook from before you were conceived in your womb, those pluripotent cells are going to turn back on that were previously asleep, and they're going to go ahead and replace all the damaged cells so that you get to regain your youthful state of being. It's important to know that you need to drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water. If you're not sure that this is a big deal, it is a very big deal. Why? First of all, your body's, as a baby, you're 82% water. As a 60-year-old, you're about 55% water. The thing to note is that that's one of the primary building blocks of your body. Your DNA is 92% water. So water is the primary structure that holds up your genes, your DNA. Pretty important. When you're 2% dehydrated, your mouth will feel parched. When you're 8% dehydrated, your DNA starts to unravel. Now, what part of that could possibly be of benefit to you? If nothing else, you probably become aware and start to understand that if your DNA is starting to unravel, that is a quicker death is starting to ensue, right? Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. When you get to 10% dehydration, you lose your mind. You literally lose your mind. Part of that is because you have so many proteins that have folded where your body can't function anymore. When you reach 12% dehydration, you're dead. All systems hard shut down, you cease to exist. It's a hard lockdown. Also, good to know that your DNA is an energy amplifier because it's 92% water, 92% water. Water is a great conductor of electrolytes, of electrons, of electricity. It's highly conducive. So it's really important to know that. Also, good to know, how long do you wear these patches? Do you wear one patch for 365 days? No, you do not wear it for 365 days. We recommend that you wear the patches for the next 365 days, but you're going to be wearing a brand new patch. Or I like to wear the Fantastic Five, and many of the people that I start on the patches, out of the 11 patches, there's 5 or 6 that take care of the primary systems of the body. And so the Fantastic Five take care of the primary systems of the body. I've labeled them here, 39, 49, glutathione, carnosine, eon. You can wear them all on your brainstem, on your governing vessel 14, which is GV14 is at the bottom of your neck, the top of your spine. If you just put your neck a little bit down there, you'll feel a neck bump back there. You can apply it there, or you can put it under your belly button, conception vessel 6. That has to do with all things related to conception, reproduction, digestion. You can really wear the patches anywhere in your body. I suggest that if you have any kind of symptoms that you're trying to take care of, you get back to the person who got you started on the patches, and they'll help you with patch placement. Rule of thumb I like to use with most people, with all people actually, if you have pain anywhere in your body, let's say you have 2, 3, 4 things in your body that have pain, point to the pain, the greatest pain that you have in your body. So whatever hurts the most, point to the pain and then patch it. You're either going to take the patches and put them directly on the pain point, or let's say it's your wrist that has pain. You can attach the patches like this. You overlap the adhesive. You maintain the integrity of each white circle. And then you would simply surround the area by the wrist. And then you will notice that the pain will drop 50 to 100% within 3 to 4 minutes. You could also take, and let's say you could arrange these in a circle. You could put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patches on your wrist, And that would also work very well. In fact, I want to show you someone who just broke her finger. This is really extraordinary. She just sent this to me yesterday. I think you're going to be really quite shocked. This is Dr. Andrea. And Dr. Andrea just broke her finger. And I think I was duly impressed. She was duly impressed. And her sister was doubting that the patches work until she saw her sister's hand right after she broke her finger. And so this is what her hand looked like when she broke her finger. So she didn't take a picture of this side of her hand, but she told me that her hand was all black and blue and of the whole finger. This is very typical when you when you have a fracture anywhere in the body. So her finger was black and blue. 4 days later, all the pain, all the inflammation, her finger was fine after 4 days. Look at her hand. She had a prosthetic on the finger for 4 days. On the 4th day, she was able to remove it. And she just simply patched her hand. She just simply put the X39 and the Eon patch around the finger. So she just circumvented it, had the prosthetic on there, and the rest is history. So I found that really amazing. Here's the first day, 4 days later, and she was able to remove the prosthetic, and she says there's not even a hint of pain. 4 days. And when did she just sent this to me? It was last night. Yeah, it was last night about 9:39 p.m. because we were on a Zoom call, and then she shared with me what had happened. It was incredible. And of course, she said that I could share this with you guys. And so that's why I'm sharing that with you. So it's quite extraordinary. Let me continue on here so that we can finish the balance of this information. If you like what you see, if you'd like to learn more, get back to the person who referred you to this video. Get back to the person who referred you to this video, and then we can help you get started, and at the very least answer whatever questions that you might have. Again, you're going to be wearing these patches for the next year, 12 months, 12 hours on. So first thing in the morning, you put your patches on, 12 hours on, and then you're going to set an alarm to remind you to remove the patches, because otherwise you'll forget, because you can't feel the patches. And then you'll remove them after 12 hours. And you're going to match that with 12 hours of rest, repair, and restore. In fact, I am going to add that to my presentation right now. Here, rest, repair, restore. Okay, fantastic. We're always making it better, that Kaizen principle. Here, I'm also showing that you can do kissing patches, just as I showed you here that I connected these patches here. You don't have to connect the patches, but oftentimes it's an easy way to keep the patches together and apply them, especially if you're wearing the Fantastic 5. Unless you're doing a different patch placement for a specific condition that you might have, you might want to separate the patches. Sometimes we even separate the patches where we have certain patches during the day, certain ones at night. Again, when we do a patch placement call, all that will be revealed to you because that's very individual. So the kissing patches have the crystal circles touching with overlapping adhesive. So you want to maintain the integrity of the white circle crystal lattice, because that's what's signaling and giving the instruction inside your body to do something. So you don't want to overlap the white circles. So just the adhesive will overlap, okay? Just as a point of clarification. Real quickly, this is Dr. John Harmon. He had a right bundle branch blockage. 3 cardiologists confirmed that there was nothing that could be done other than to put him on meds. There was no surgery as an option for him, shortened lifespan, and the symptoms that he was having was really quite bothersome. Took 14 months, but at the 14th month, he wore his patches faithfully every day that ends in Y. That's all days, right? 14 months later, he had not 1, not 2, but 3 cardiologists. All 3 of them verified for him. His right bundle branch blockage disappeared. His heart regained its original youthful state. Anything that was damaged before was no longer. So that condition and the symptoms along with it Throughout the 14 months, he was seeing an improvement, but then he had confirmation at the 14th month through the scans that all three cardiologists gave. And all three cardiologists said the same thing. I've never seen this in my entire practice, in my entire career. I've never even read the possibility of this in any of the research, any of the studies that I've studied. This is phenomenal. And of course, when you are activating your pluripotent cells, their job is to replace damaged cells. And so he has evidence that that was in fact the case. And he also had the wonderful benefit of rejuvenation, which you can see the inflammation, fine lines and wrinkles and gray hair here. And on the right, all of that has disappeared. He basically rolled back the hands of time. He's rejuvenated, restored, inflammation gone, darker hair, darker eyebrows, fuller eyebrows, just even better looking than he was before. It's good to know that there's something called fibroblasts, that they start to decline in their production of collagen when you're just 25 years old. I want you to think about that. At 30, 50% of your stem cells turn off. For a 25-year-old, you probably have about 20, 25% of your stem cells have already started to turn off when you're just barely 25 years old. But again, your fibroblasts are already starting their decline in production of collagen when you're just barely 25. And I don't know about you, but I think about a 25-year-old. I got married when I was 25, and I was kind of a young little girl, just barely, you're just barely used to being an adult at that point, right? And already those stem cells are starting to turn off and to go dormant, not because they're damaged, not because they're destroyed, not because they're disappearing. They simply go dormant. We are simply enabling them to turn back on. This is just a device to redirect energy in your body. Your body is doing everything. There's nothing outside of you that's being put into your body. That was actually proven during the Olympics, because when Michael Phelps won his 7 gold medals, they're like, wait a minute, he's wearing these little Band-Aids. He's probably putting hormones. He's probably putting steroids in his body. So they actually did a full investigation, and they found these are just mechanical devices. There's no medicine. There's nothing. Even the crystals that are on the patches, not even those crystals, even though they're organic sugars and organic salt crystals and a proprietary blend of organic amino acids, those are not even being absorbed in the skin. They're still intact when you remove them. So those are not designed to be absorbed by the skin. They are mechanical structures that are redirecting the light back into your body, just like that diamond crystal. So it's mimicking a diamond crystal. So they're just nanotechnology that is a device to structurally reflect back light into the body. It's really quite extraordinary. Real quickly here, this is the first person who had long haulers COVID, who we put him on the patches June 23rd. He had long haulers. He would wake up with horrible nausea, headaches, fatigue, low stamina, felt like a truck ran him over. He was really having a bad time with insomnia. 18 months of suffering with this terrible, terrible condition. And we started him on the patches on the 23rd. We started him on all 5. 24 hours later, he contacted me and said, oh my gosh, hey, Lillian, just a note, don't know if it's a placebo or the stem cell activation patches work that quick or what, but I had really good sleep. He tried everything for his insomnia before. Nothing had worked. He goes, I had a little better sleep than other nights and I fell asleep quicker. Today, I'm just on a high. I'm ecstatic. And Gwen sees that in me. And I feel really, really good physically when I awoke this morning. No headache, no nausea. Yeah, it's just been phenomenal. A phenomenal day. So thank you. And I'll update you as we go along. Hope all is well. Thanks. Bye. Very excited. This is a dear friend of mine. It's a fellow Dr. Joe student. We've gone to many week-long events together. I've been to 9 week-long events and 3 AFUs, and Barry is a pillar in our community. And to see him suffering with this was just really difficult. And I was so glad to be able to introduce him to this life-saving technology. Wouldn't you agree it makes sense to share this with everyone? Because you just don't know. There's a lot of people that look fine. And then you realize, oh my gosh, I had no idea you were suffering with this and that you were in that amount of pain. It's really startling to me, the number of people who suffer in pain. Like my friend Kathy McCarthy, who is a professional skydiver. She jumps every day out of a perfectly good plane. I would never jump out of a perfectly good plane, but she gets paid a lot of money to do this professionally for Fortune companies. And she was suffering for 33 years with autoimmune from 3 breast implants that she had. Terrible autoimmune disorders, her laundry list of all the things that she had going on. And there was nothing that centralized medicine could do for her. She wasn't really curbing any of those symptoms. And she was really suffering quite a bit. And she was 63 years old in January, believe it or not. I know she doesn't look 63, but she is 64 years old now. And luckily she took the advice of taking a picture every 30 days before she started on the patches and every 30 days since. And in January, this is what her chest looked like. March, June, 6 months later, she only has no wrinkles. Now she just has a faint evidence of some lines. 7 months later, gone. No fine lines, no wrinkles, it's all gone. Best yet is that all the symptoms from her autoimmune disorder also disappeared. Now, I got to tell you, she has chosen to stay on the patches after this. Not only did she have this incredible regeneration of her skin, inside and outside of her body, her autoimmune conditions and disorders are no more, but she also has this much more youthful appearance where she looks like she's clearly 35, 40, no more than that. Her husband noticed that, before she even did, he said, "Hey, hon, look at your torso, look at your arm. You no longer have crepey skin. Look at how smooth your skin, how even your skin is. Look at how much tighter your skin is." And she was really amazed. And so are we. If you want to watch the interview, I did have her give us the entire story. Her whole story is really quite fascinating and riveting. You can see that on Love and Money Secrets TV. Just type that in the YouTube channel, Love, and then the ampersand sign, and Money Secrets TV with no spaces. Or you can go to DameLillianWalker.com. Here's my testimonial. If you want to watch the whole testimonial, I was interviewed on quite a few YouTube channels and podcasts about this. Here I had about 50% less hair, because after I got hit by a bus, I lost about 50% of my hair. Quite miserable. My hair got very dry, very brittle, which you can tell it's kind of dry and brittle here, unfortunately. And I had a laundry list of symptoms from my traumatic brain injury, my neck, my back, and I had a big laceration from my ankle to my knee. That injury on my knee, normally I used to heal pretty quickly. That took a year for it to close. It was very, very miserable. And it got worse before it got better, because after having that laceration, in addition to the laceration, I also had a lot of rash around that laceration, which was painful, very unsightly. So it was several years before I could wear shorts or a skirt, because I had to wear long pants all the time to cover that up. It was really quite painful and unsightly. However, I'm happy to report, if you ever want to bore yourself with all these details, it could be that you may have suffered some sort of accident, because I was hit by a bus just 3 blocks shy of completing a 16-mile bike ride. So if you were in a car accident, bus accident, boat accident, any kind of accident like that, where you suffered a traumatic brain injury or a neck, back, or all three like I did, and more, you will, anytime you suffer a traumatic brain injury, your central processing unit, which is your brain, goes offline. So all of your chemistry gets out of whack because there's a disconnect. It's just like your computer. You have your computer on and you don't have access to the internet. So you can't get any new information. And you're lucky if you can recall old information, even though you have a lot of programming in your computer, but there's something that's stuck, which doesn't allow you to pull up your old programs that are in your computer. So the computer's on, but there is a disability there, right? Knock on wood. Thank goodness Dr. Nirmala, who I was writing a medical book based on her, I'm writing a book based on her medical thesis, actually. We've been writing that book for 2 years. We are always, conferring with each other about different conditions of different patients and clients that we have. And so she brought to my attention about these patches, and she was actually on a team doing research that was going to Belize with these patches. And we were using a BioWell machine because she has a BioWell, I do too. We use that to scan people's hands to identify the amount of energy, how many joules of energy the organs and organ systems have in the body. Long story short, she's the one who introduced me into the patches. So this is my before, and then I wore the same shirt so that you could get a true comparison. And you could see I had crow's feet. I don't have them anymore. I had hooded eyebrows. I didn't even know what hooded eyebrows. I remember seeing Instagram posts and Facebook posts about that. And when I put these pictures together in July of 2023, just a few months ago, I was like, I had hooded eyebrows. Oh my gosh. That's like surprising to me, but it's true. I don't have hooded eyebrows anymore. You could see how it shrunk both eyes, a little bit more on my right eye than my left. So I still, every day I do these Zooms, I keep on mentioning that I do really have to take a look in a mirror and see if maybe now they're both even. And if not, I might have to put an Eon patch over the one just to make sure that what little hooding is left on this one goes back up, right? So, and it's not that it might, I know that it'll happen. I just need to patch it and to get that effect and just change the placement of my patches. All right. So we're just going to go over the mother stem cell activation patch today. We're not going to go over the whole Fantastic Five. If you're interested in that, you can see some of the previous broadcasts where you just need to go into my channel. You could see the information question and answer sessions for the photobiomodulation patches, and you will get to see what all Fantastic Five are. You can always contact the person who got you started on the patches. They can tell you about 39, 49, and then the Y age, glutathione, carnosine, and Eon. So let's talk here about what this does. The moment that patch, which I have the 39 on my neck at this moment, C7, also known as governing vessel 14 from an acupuncture standpoint, it resets a third of your genes to a younger, healthier state, regenerates cells, replacing damaged cells, restores collagen, rebuilds scar tissue. It'll actually replace the scar tissue with the original tissue. Game changer. For me, that scar that I had on my shin, because the laceration was right up the shin bone. First thing I noticed was that the bone that was wobbly after it healed, and there was a thick scar that was purple in color. A couple things. I noticed that the bone got filled in and the bone was smooth all the way across, and the scar immediately went flat. Probably in the first 3 or 4 months. It went flat, it shrunk, and it went from purple to very light brown. To where now, 14 months later, it's more than 14 months at this point. Now you can barely see, it's a very, very light brown, and it's shrunk even more. So in the next year, both my legs will match, which will be nice because my nickname in high school was Legs. Okay, reduces fine lines and wrinkles. Yes, I've already been a benefactor myself from that, but so will you. Increased energy, increased sexual libido, antioxidants, anti-aging, anti-inflammation will also increase. If you have pain, the subjects in the clinical studies all experience pain relief, 50 to 100% pain relief within 3 to 4 minutes of wearing the patches. Many people, I put improved hair growth here, even though that was not measured in our clinical studies, but I experienced hair growth, as you saw at the beginning of this broadcast. Many of our people experience improved hair growth with more hair, even in bald spots. You have more hair growth, also with original hair color coming back. So that's also very important. And improved all the subjects in the clinical studies, and everyone I've ever patched who I've got started on the patches, everybody goes. I have one guy, for example, even the people who wake up multiple times a night. For example, I have a guy named Michael. He said, before I was patching, I would wake up 5 times a night to go to the bathroom. And every time I'd go back to bed, it would take me an hour to an hour and a half to get back to sleep. He goes, now I still wake up 5 times, but when I get back to bed, within minutes, I'm back to sleep again. Men and women alike. I have another gal named Annie. Annie was just telling me this week, she goes, honey, I wake up 2-3 times a night. I have to get up to go to the bathroom, and it used to take me forever to get back to sleep again. Now, as soon as my head hits the pillow, boom, I'm right back to sleep. She goes, she feels so much better in so many different ways. And I was just talking to her ex-husband yesterday, and he was telling me about all the improvements he's seen in her. Really quite exciting. All righty. So we're going to share with you, this is, again, governing vessel 14. That's where your brain, that neck bump is right around here, the base of your neck, the top of your spine, governing vessel 14. Here you go. If you link these together, that's how you will wear the patch. You just simply attach that first patch and then just press it down, just line it up so that it's straight, easy peasy. We do have a recommendation, a regimen. We have a Veritas Concilium. True plan of action. Veritas means true, concilium, plan of action. Using traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture points to magnify the effects of the patches on the body. So again, when you get your patches, you get back to the person who referred you to this video, who told you about the patches, and we'll do a patch placement call with you. We also have a video that will explain to you how to apply the patches and how to get that started. But if you need more specifics, we can always do a patch placement call with you, and there's no additional cost for that. All right. We're not going to get into the daughter stem cell activation patch. We'll leave that for another time. I wanted to share with you. People ask, how much does this cost? Well, we're not going to charge you $1 million because, of course, a lot of people would pay $1 million to regain and restore their health. If you don't have health, you don't have anything, because it takes a lot of time, money, energy, and attention when something is not working properly in your body. It does take a lot of deliberate attention and additional money and resources to address that. And it's taking your time and energy and resources away from doing something else that would be of greater joy to you, or maybe doing your purpose, whatever it is your purpose and your passion and your mission is, right? So you know that traditional stem cell therapies, which you can't get stem cell therapy in the States right now, it's illegal. So that means that you have to travel overseas. You have the cost of flight, you have the cost of hotel and everything else that goes along with traveling. On top of that, each session is anywhere from $8,000 to $11,000 per session. Our very own Dr. Stacy spent 125 grand for her daughter, left the country to do that, and did not see nearly the results and benefits that she did in comparison to when she got her daughter started on these patches. These patches, you're not going to believe this, but you got to believe this because it's true. You can get started for just $5 a day. So the mother stem cell activation patch, this is called a sleeve. It's an envelope, depending how you pronounce it, right? Envelope, potato. An envelope is a sleeve. A sleeve is just a special cardboard container to hold a 1 month supply or 30 patches here. So here I have the mother and the daughter stem cell activation patch, and both of them same pricing. So it's $5 a day for one patch. That's times 30. That's $149 a month. Very affordable. How many people buy 1 or 2 Starbucks a day for themselves? So this is well within your wheelhouse of being able to afford this. These two, it's $300, and that's the retail price. You can go to the person who referred you to this video. You go to their retail site, you go to my retail site, you go to Carol's retail site, whoever referred you to this video, you go to their retail site and you'll see that for $149 a piece, you can get started on these patches. And you'll pay just $149 each, or you can bundle price them for $279, get a little bit of a savings. And then you are going to be required to be on a 6-month auto ship. Now, because you're on this broadcast, I can put you on a doctor wholesale pack. You can get back to the person who told you about this, and they can get you on this doctor wholesale pack. All we need to do is fill out this doctor wholesale pack form, and then we enter it into our back office. So for the Fantastic Five, oops, I didn't mean to do that. We would get you started on the gold pack. That's the 5 of these. $750 is the retail, but you'll get it for $499. So you're basically dropping your cost from $149 each to $100 each. Already a $50 savings per patch type. That's about a 30% savings, which is pretty significant. And then that's just the first month would be $499. And then after that, it would be $329 a month if you were doing the Fantastic Five. If you're not doing the Fantastic Five and you're just wanting to start with the X39, you can do that too. So we can talk more details about that. But then the diamond pack is if you're willing to buy 3 months, either 3 months or a year in advance of patches, you can get a year's worth of X39 here. Instead of paying $2,850, you would pay only $1,599. That's less. That's like $2.80 a patch a day. Huge savings. The price, or if you do the Fantastic Five on the diamond pack, you pay for 3 months and they bonus you 2 months. So you get, instead of 19 sleeves, you get 25 sleeves. So that's 5 months. And again, your price per sleeve drops down. You basically save 50%. It's a tremendous savings because you're going to be on the patches moving forward for the next year. Anyhow, you may as well pay the lowest price if you can afford to front that, right? So to learn more and read our 90 clinical studies and 120 patents, you can get to this website, which is an educational site. You can't buy anything here. There's nothing to buy here. This is an online library where you can see a 2-minute, a 3-minute, an 18-minute video. You can see some testimonials, and you can see the links to all 90 studies and all 120 patents. If you're not interested in any of that, you just want to see how quickly you can get started on the patches, get back to the person who referred you to this video and let them know that you have whatever questions or you just want to get started. If you would like the To Get Started text, we can send you the To Get Started text, which is basically the questions that we need to ask you for your personal information and your payment method. We can then complete this form and then enter that into our back office. If you can't get a hold of the person who invited you to this video that shared this information with you, just find out what their name, just tell me what their name, first and last name is and what their member ID number is. We'll take care of making sure that we enter this information, make sure that they get credit because they will get a product introduction bonus for introducing you to this life-saving technology. Okay. Last but not least, you can take down that number. That's our hotline. It's an unmonitored hotline. It's not like hooked up to some sort of fancy computer system that will automatically anything. This is powered by the entire power of 56 trillion cells in this body by me. So I actually have to physically look at it, read it, and respond to you. So I don't have it connected to any fancy system. It's old school, but it is my hotline. And anybody who calls and leaves a message, the message is transcribed in text message form to me. So I can listen to your voicemail or I can read the text message and respond to you as quickly as possible. Bear in mind, I am dealing with people in the United States, Europe, Mexico, Central, South America, and Asia. All right. You can visit DameLillianWalker.com. Please do visit DameLillianWalker.com. That's going to send you to my YouTube channel called Love, because everything is about love and money. It's actually all the same thing. It's all the genesis of everything is love. That's how we create everything. So love, and then money is just stored energy. And so Love and Money Secrets TV. And this is probably the greatest secret of all. A lot of people, they get started on these patches and they say, how come I didn't know about this before? Why have I never heard about this before until so-and-so told me about this? I said, you know what? This is a fascinating thing because we can't possibly know it all. In fact, there's a song that is called The Sounds of Silence, which I just learned about the sounds of silence by this guy named David, who does an incredible rendition of this song. And a friend of mine, Lisa Pettit, told me, oh, my favorite song is The Sounds of Silence. And believe it or not, when I watched the YouTube video on that, there's over 7 billion people who have watched that video. Billion, not million, billion. Yet I had never heard of The Sound of Silence. When I saw that video, it gave me chills down to my bones. You may want to check it out yourself online. Turns out it is a rendition of the Nasby Stills and Crosby, Stills and Nash. They originally did the song like 30, 40 years ago, maybe 50 years ago. It sounds totally different. So I recognized the melody, but the interpretation of that song was just phenomenal, to the point where Crosby, Stills and Nash actually said that he did a better version of the song than the song that they wrote and performed 30, 40, 50 years ago. But I never heard of it until 4th of July weekend when I'm out at the pool with my friend Lisa and some of my other neighbors. I never heard of it. Sounds of Silence? What is she talking about? But guess what? 7 billion other people had heard of it. Well, listen, my friends and gems, there's only 2 million, a little over 2 million people in 81 countries who are aware of these patches. And now at the perfect time, place, with the perfect people, you've become aware of these patches. It's the same thing. Just 2 million people, not 7 billion. So just as I had never heard of The Sound of Silence by David, same thing. It's the same thing. We can't know about everything, but everything comes into our experience at just the right time, at the right time, at the right time, at the right place with the right people. Wouldn't you agree? And these patches are no different. There's something in your vibration, in your frequency that attracted you to this. You're both like magnets. Just you are a magnet and the person who told you about it. So I would encourage you to check it out. If you have guarded skepticism, there's plenty of evidence to show you that these actually work. It works on all mammals. Doesn't matter. It's not limited to humans. And animals don't have an ego. They don't have a belief system. It's interesting. 100% of the animals all of them that I've seen within 2, no more than 3 months, all of them have an incredible restoration in their health. You see immediate reaction of the animals. None of them try to take the patches off, which any of us who have had pets before, we know that you put a booties, a hat, whatever on them, they usually try to take it off. They don't like it. They like to just be en naturel, right? None of the animals try to take it off because it feels good on them. The energy feels good to them. But the effects is really quite extraordinary, from cataracts disappearing to cysts, tumors disappearing to walking being restored, all sorts of incredible things. All right, we're going to wrap it up. I don't know if you have any questions, Carol. I kind of went longer than I really wanted to here, but do you have any questions, Carol, or any kind of comments? All righty. How's my beautiful friend and Jim? She's like my co-pilot. All right, Carol. Thank you for tuning in, tapping in, turning up. Yes. What did you say?
No, I couldn't unmute properly, but no, it's wonderful. I've enjoyed whenever I can. I'm going to be listening to you. I learned so much, and it's fun to be with anybody on the Zoom here together.
Yeah.
So
thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I'm going to let you go. Also, by the way, check. I wanted to make note. Dr. Stacy wants to meet with you on a Zoom. So as soon as I get off here, I'm going to give you a quick call to give you those details. Okay.
All righty. Thank you.
Take care, my beautiful friends and gems. Thank you for tuning in, tapping in, turning on YouTube. Please make sure you like the video. And subscribe to the channel, because it helps people find this content on there. It helps the algorithm. We can get more message out so more of you learn about this life-saving technology. Okay. Ciao for now.
Bye.